Throughout history, humanity has built more than just monuments. We have carved meaning into mountains, turned temples into timekeepers, and woven stories into stone. Join us as we journey across the globe to uncover the world's most revered spiritual heritage sites, where faith, legend, and wonder become one. Come closer. Not everything sacred stands behind temple walls. In the misty highlands of South Sulawesi, the Torajan people have built a world where the living and the dead still dine together. This is Tana, Toraja, a place where death is not an end, but a celebration. Here, funerals last days, not hours, with feasts, dances, and the deep echo of traditional chants that stir the very air. In this land, death is delayed. The deceased remain at home for weeks, sometimes years, lovingly tended to, spoken to, and treated as simply sick. Only when the elaborate funeral ceremony is complete are they truly released to the afterlife. And that journey is as dramatic as the land itself. Tongkonan houses, with roofs curved like buffalo horns, rise from the green hills. Cliffs are carved into vertical tombs. Wooden effigies called tau stand guard above valleys, faces forever watching over the land and their descendants. Beneath it all, the people believe in Aluk-Todolo, the way of the ancestors. It's not a religion, it's a rhythm, a harmony between soil, sky, and spirit. Traveling through Tana Toraja is like stepping between dimensions, villages where every object is a symbol, every path a ritual, every death a beginning. And when you leave, you don't just remember the culture, you feel like it remembers you. They say that angels helped build these churches. In the heart of Ethiopia's highlands, carved into volcanic rock, lies a place untouched by time, Lalibela. But this is no ordinary town. It is a city born from a dream, guided by faith and sculpted by hands that believed they were shaping a little piece of heaven. In the 12th century, King Lalibela envisioned a new Jerusalem, right here in Africa. And so began one of the most awe-inspiring projects in human history. 11 monolithic churches, not built on the ground, but carved into it, downward from solid stone. Step into Beit Georgis, the Church of St. George, shaped like a cross, hidden below the surface. No bricks, no wood, no scaffolding. Just prayer, perseverance, and stone that yields only to devotion. Walk the narrow passageways and the world above fades. The air cools, the light softens, and silence embraces you. It feels less like visiting a monument and more like entering a secret kept safe for centuries. Pilgrims still come here, barefoot, wrapped in white, carrying nothing but their faith. And when they chant in Ge'ez, the ancient liturgical tongue, It's not just sound, it's spirit. Lalibela isn't just architecture. It's a question. How far will people go for what they believe in? How deep must faith be to move mountains or carve through them? So if you ever come to Lalibela, don't just look, listen, because in these sacred halls of stone, something still speaks. My grandfather told me that when I was small, back then it sounded like a poem. But now, standing among the misty heights of Banaue, I finally understand. These rice terraces aren't just carved earth, they're sculpted memory. More than 2,000 years ago, the Ifugao people, without modern tools or written plans, transformed steep mountains into living steps of survival. Layer after layer, they didn't just plant rice, they planted time. Each tier holds water, yes, but it also holds breath, effort, and story. The terraces follow the curves of the land like veins across skin, bringing life season after season. Rain comes, water flows, crops grow, and with them, so do the songs of generations. Some call it the eighth wonder of the world, but for the people here, it's just home, a living monument, a breathing landscape, a masterpiece of human hands and the earth's patience. And in that moment, surrounded by clouds and echoes, I realized I wasn't just walking on terraces, I was walking through centuries. In Varanasi, life and death share the same river. This is not just a city, it is a cycle, a circle, a breath. Varanasi, also known as Kashi, the city of light, has been burning bright for over 3,000 years. Every morning, the mist rises with the chants. Priests pour offerings into the river as the sun crests the horizon, illuminating the faces of pilgrims who believe this water cleanses the soul, in life and in death. You don't walk through Varanasi, you drift, through smoke, through color, through centuries. A boat ride at dawn reveals the sacred rhythm of the city. A child's laughter, a prayer's echo, a pyre's flame. And yet there is peace, not in silence, but in the acceptance of impermanence. Come not to take pictures, but to feel time loosen its grip. In Varanasi, you do not visit, you surrender. And in that surrender, you may just find something eternal. Sometimes the soul seeks silence, not to escape the world, but to feel it more deeply. That silence lives in Tawang. Nestled in the far northeast of India, near the borders of Bhutan and Tibet, Tawang isn't just a place on a map. It's a breath, taken slowly, surrounded by clouds, prayer flags, and the ancient echoes of faith. Here stands the Tawang Monastery, the largest in India and the second largest in the world. Painted in white and saffron, it seems to float in the mist, watching over the valley like a guardian of centuries. But Tawang is more than devotion. The winding road to Sela Pass takes you through a high-altitude dream of lakes, snow, and silence. At 13,700 feet, the air is thin, but the sense of wonder is full. Locals greet you with warm tea and warmer eyes. Their stories blend history, myth, and resistance. From the tales of the 6th Dalai Lama to the resilience of the Mampa people, every corner hums with a quiet strength. Tawang doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you listen closely, it changes you. in the heart of Beijing. Behind crimson gates and beneath golden roofs lies a world that once belonged to emperors and shadows. The Forbidden City is not just a palace, it is a heartbeat, fossilized in stone and silence. Here, over 900 buildings echo with the footsteps of the Ming and Qing dynasties. Ceremonies, secrets, betrayals, they all linger in the painted eaves and marble courtyards. The Hall of Supreme Harmony once heard whispers that could change the fate of millions. The Empress's garden bloomed in luxury, but also in loneliness. But step closer. The dragons curled along the rooftops weren't just symbols, they were guardians. The colors, the carvings, the symmetry, each spoke a language known only to those born to rule. And yet, even emperors could not escape time. The city watched them come and go as seasons passed and dynasties fell. It is filled with the rustle of silk robes, the clash of rituals, and the voice of a place that remembers. Not the kind born of emptiness, but of reverence. That moment when I first looked up at the Potala Palace. It wasn't just a building, it was a mountain crowned with prayer. Rising over 13 stories high, this fortress of red and white stands like a sentinel over Lhasa. Once the winter home of the Dalai Lama, it has witnessed centuries of Tibetan history, peace, prayer, exile, and endurance. Every stone feels as if it's holding a memory. Climbing the winding stairs, I passed murals painted with legends, the lives of kings and monks carved into color. The air grew thinner, but my heart beat louder, because every level took me closer to the heart of a culture built on quiet strength. Inside, the golden stupas shimmered with candlelight. The scent of incense wrapped around me like an old story being told once more. No photo could capture this, only breath and presence. Potala isn't just Tibet's spiritual crown. It's a lesson in stillness, in the power of belief standing taller than war, politics, or time. That was the only sentence I could write after arriving in Zhouzhuang, China's oldest water town. They call it the Venice of the East, but that comparison feels too modern, too busy. Zhouzhuang is slower, quieter, older, like it's dreaming while awake. Here, the canals are not just water, they are time itself, flowing between Qing dynasty buildings, under 14 ancient stone bridges, and past houses that have stood for over 900 years. There is a rhythm here, not the sound of cars or cities, but of wooden boats slicing gently through the water, of silk brushing silk in the hands of an old weaver, of chopsticks tapping bowls behind steamed-up windows. At night, lanterns light up the canal's surface in reds and golds. It's as if the stars have decided to float for a while. Lovers walk hand in hand. A musician plays the guqin by a window. Zhouzhuang isn't loud. It doesn't beg to be noticed. But if you slow down, if you truly look, it welcomes you like a whisper. Imagine stepping back in time, where every stone whispers stories and the air hums with ancient chants. Welcome to Hampi, the magnificent ruined city of the Vijayanagara Empire, nestled in the heart of Karnataka. Once a thriving capital in the 14th century, it is now a sprawling archaeological wonder, frozen in time. As you wander through the labyrinth of temples, palaces, and bazaars, the silence is pierced by echoes of past lives, traders, warriors, and poets who walked these pathways centuries ago. The iconic stone chariot, standing proudly in the Potala temple complex, seems almost alive, guarding memories of a golden era. The landscape here is surreal. Massive boulders balance precariously, rivers weaving gently, and vibrant festivals that still breathe life into these ancient ruins. Hampi is not just a destination. It's a living storybook where every corner reveals a new chapter of history and legend. They say that when rivers raged and ships vanished beneath the currents, the people prayed and carved a god into the mountain. This is the story of the Leshan giant Buddha, born from the meeting of faith and fear. In the 8th century, during China's Tang dynasty, monks believed that calming the confluence of 3 rivers, the Min, Qingyi, and Dadu, required more than offerings. It needed presence. It needed scale. And so, 71 meters into the Red Cliff, they sculpted Maitreya, the Buddha of the future, gazing forever at the waters below. At his feet, tourists drift by on boats, dwarfed by the sheer scale. From above, winding stairs take you beside his robe folds, from toe level to eye level. You don't just see this statue, you ascend it. And as you stand before him, beneath the gaze carved by human hands more than 1,200 years ago, you realize this isn't just a statue. It's a message, in sandstone, in silence, in strength.